Hi everybody, welcome to WeVideo Classroom. This is session 1, getting started from the teacher point of view. So from ClassLink, you're going to click on the WeVideo application, which will open WeVideo in a new tab. You will see you have two versions to choose from. We are going into the Classroom version. When you enter your teacher dashboard, you're going to see there are two tabs on the side, Classes and Projects. You're also going to see any existing classes that you have in the middle of your screen. In order to create a class, you're going to go to the Add New Class button and click on the drop-down. We want to create a class. From here, you're going to fill in these blanks. The section or period is optional, as well as the grade level. When you're ready, you will click Create. You'll notice that I have now a new classroom added to my classes dashboard. I also see the period and the grade that I have inputted. I have 0 students though. I also see the 3 dots here next to the title, and when I click on those 3 dots, I have the ability to delete that class or edit it. If I go to Edit, it's going to allow me to adjust the title, section, and period again. And of course, if I go to Delete, it's going to delete it completely. I'm going to click on the actual test classroom square to get me into the classroom to begin. You'll notice that I have 2 tabs in this section, Assignments as well as a People tab. We'll start in Assignments. There is a default in WeVideo Classroom that has your first video being an Introduce Yourself video. And you see it's in draft form. It's also an individual video project. I can edit this assignment using this Edit button. I can also go to these 3 dots and publish this assignment if I want the students to work on that. I also have the ability to delete it if I don't think it's something I want to use. I can also create a new assignment. When I click on Create a New Assignment, it's going to take you to the basic info page where you're going to fill in the details of your assignment for students. So I'm going to call this a vocabulary Unit 5 video. The description is also a required component. We can tell because it has that little red star next to the title name. And this is where you would write any details, and you can even add links to assignment materials. So these can be graphic organizers or a sample video perhaps. I already had directions, so I'm going to just copy and paste them in this box. You'll see that there are a few editing tools down at the bottom where you can hyperlink, create a bulleted list or a numbered list, as well as bold or italicize. I do recommend that in your description you give a time limit to your videos if that's something that's important to you, because it's really fun to design in WeVideo, and sometimes having a limitation is a good thing. Underneath of the description is the project type. So we have 3 different types that a student can do. I would like to keep it as video, but there's also the GIF and the podcast options. Underneath of that is participation, and this is what you're going to have to decide whether or not you want the students working on it individually or as a team project. And if you create a team project, it's going to look a little different when the students enter. They're going to have to select which team they would like to join. There's also a due date and time. This is an optional feature. You can see you can choose from the calendar and a list of times. Also the option to include a cover photo. So this is going to be a little thumbnail next to the assignment that students can recognize that that's an assignment that they're working on. You simply click on Import Cover Photo and it's going to give you access to your computer files. I have just some images here. Maybe Unit 5 has to do with biology, so I'm going to choose one of these images that is going to remind the students or alert the students that this is the assignment they're supposed to work on. Further down the page, you're going to see that there is some video editor setup where you can actually create a media bin. And this is where you can select content for your students to use. So similarly to the cover photo, when you go to set up the media bin, it's going to bring you to a page where you're able to add media up here in the upper left-hand corner. And this is media that you can add from WeVideo's stock media. So for example, if we're talking about biology and I'm searching that, maybe there are certain images or video clips here. You can see there's video, audio, as well as images. And I can search the WeVideo library and choose a few images that I think would really be beneficial for the students to use in their project. So I'm just selecting by clicking on those images or videos and clicking Add, and you'll see that it's now added it to this blank area, which is the student's media bin. When I click on Add Media, I can also access images from my computer. So again, if I wanted to maybe include some of these images of the terrapin, I could do that. I also have access to my Google Drive and my OneDrive where I can search for images and audio and video from there. You'll also notice that there's a record button, and this is so that on the fly I can record either my screen, myself in a webcam, or a combination of the two, and use that as part of the student's media library. So maybe there's something on my actual screen that I want them to be able to use in their project. I could record it right here on the fly and add that to the media bin. I can also record my voice right here from within WeVideo, and that can be a clip that they can use in their project. Or I could record a musical piece or a sound that they might need so that they have it available. Once I've added everything that I think they'll need for their video project, I'm going to click Done in the upper right. And as I scroll down, I'm going to see all of those elements that I have added in my media content area. So from this point, I have a few options on the upper right. I can either publish this assignment for students to start working on as soon as they log in. I can save this as a draft and come back to it later, or I can cancel altogether. I'm going to go ahead and save it as a draft, and you'll notice that it's popped up here under the Assignments tab in my classroom. It is noted that it's still in draft mode. It is a video project, and it's an individual project. Now, if I wanted to edit this assignment, I can click right here on Edit Assignment. I can also just go and click on these three dots and publish at any time. So I like to maybe preload some of my assignments, and when I'm ready, I'll go ahead and publish. When it is in draft mode, students are not going to be able to see it, but you as the teacher can see it, so you can continue working on it. So to create a team project, I'm going to go to the same Create Assignment button and fill in the basic information. I'm going to call this one Interview a Friend. I want to have students working together to interview one another and compile that into one video project. So I have the description here about what they're going to do. They're going to interview one another about the steps that they took during their science experiment and what their results were. I'm going to have that be a video project type, and I'm going to choose under participation team this time. You'll notice when I click on team, I'm going to be asked how many teams I want to have created. It depends on how many students you have in your class and how many people you want in each group. Since this project is a partner project, and let's pretend I have a class of 20 students in an ideal world, I would need 10 teams. As the students enter the project, they're going to be prompted to choose a team, and it will automatically add them to that little group. I then can, of course, choose my due date and time. Let's say I want this to be due on a Friday, and I can scroll down to get different times. I'm going to say maybe 10:30. Again, I can also import that cover photo. I always like to do this so that students can easily identify which project they should be working on. The cover photo I chose as two students interviewing each other. I just saved it to my computer and found it there. And then if I wanted to, I could add some materials in the media bin. Since this is an interview, I don't think I need anything there. So my options again at the top are to either publish right now for students to work on. I can cancel it altogether, or I can save this as a draft and work on it at another time. You can also view the class as a student by going to the eyeball icon next to your title, and you'll see I have 1 item in draft and 3 that are published, and when I go to that little eyeball, I'm only seeing the 3 that are published because I'm viewing as the student. So as a student, I'm able to see the due date details and what type of project it is, along with whether or not it's a team or individual project, and I have the option to jump into the project, which means that I'm going to begin editing and creating this video. The second tab at the top is the People tab. That's a really important one because as of this moment, we don't have any students to assign that assignment to. And the only teacher listed is myself. You'll notice right here underneath of the chair icon that it says that you can invite students and co-teachers to your class by sharing the invite code. It's pretty small, but it's right here. And this is a code that you could put into your Brightspace account or just write on your whiteboard in your classroom so that students can join. They only have to put this code in 1 time to be able to join your classroom. Once they join your classroom, the students will populate under the Students subtitle here, and any teacher that joins your classroom will fall under the Teacher tab. I'm going to go back to my classes so that you can see where students would do that. When they enter WeVideo, they're going to go to the Join Class button. And when they click on Join Class, it's going to prompt them to put in that code that you just saw under your People tab. Once you have students and co-teachers in your classroom, there are 3 dots next to each name. Those are called the snowmen dots. When you click on the snowmen, you are able to remove members. So if a student accidentally joins the wrong class, you can remove them here, as well as any co-teachers can be removed by clicking on those 3 dots. Students in WeVideo are always assigned the student status, and teachers are always assigned the teacher status. Each time you access WeVideo Classroom as a teacher, you will land on this teacher dashboard where you will see all of the classes that you have made. To get back to an assignment, you simply click on that class and then you'll see a list of your assignments. On the left, there is another tab called Projects. This is where you can create your own projects in WeVideo, and you do that by going to the left where you can either create a folder to organize those projects or create a project right here. When you create a project in WeVideo Classroom, you to the editing platform. From here it looks like the regular WeVideo editor. You'll see that you can add media from their stock media library, as well as your own media from Google Drive, OneDrive, or your computer. You can also add text, and it's going to give you a sampling of all the different types of text that you can add into your project. You also have the ability to record your screen or yourself in a webcam or both simultaneously. So if you're trying to give instructions on how to complete an assignment for your class, this is a great option to use. You can also record your voice, and so this can be maybe a recording of essential points from a lesson that you've done with some images that you've compiled into a video project. If you would like to work on the video with a co-teacher, there is the button at the top next to the project title that says that you can invite collaborators. And when you click on that little circle with the person, you're going to get an invite link, which you can copy and then send to that person. Under the hamburger menu, you have the ability to save the project, make a copy of the project, view the version history, change the theme from light to dark, and the preference to snap clips together to be able to turn that on or off. You also have your help bar here. Once you have some content in your content area, you're simply going to drag and drop those elements to the tracks at the bottom of the screen. So I've placed a video clip in the video track, and I have a text box that I'm going to place over top of that on the text. I can then adjust the length of these videos and text boxes and add more next to them as I see fit. When you're finished with your project, you can simply close it and come back to it another time, or you can export this video. It's going to give you some options on how to export it. If it's a video, it will export as an MP4. As a podcast, it will be an MP3 file. And as a GIF, it's going to be a looping video with no sound. Since this is a video, I'll select video. It's also going to give me some resolution options. I typically stick with the standard definition, but there's also the HD version if you're using this for social media. And if you drop down the advanced settings, you'll see that there are some other things that you can change that I typically leave as they are. From here, I click on the blue export button at the bottom. It's going to work its magic as it exports my video and processes it into a file. I will see my exports over here on the left. When I'm finished, I'll click Done, and it will bring me back to my projects page where I can see all the projects that I've worked on.